Well, hi guys. This is a very sad day for me. This is when I get to say goodbye to my Ninebot Z10. This is loaned to me from Jason at eWheels. I've had it for about 3 weeks. I think I have been hogging it a little bit. I know the next team is anxiously waiting for it. I'm delivering it tomorrow to San Francisco. I'm going to have some nice riding Friday and over the weekend. I'm really looking forward to it. I've been wanting to get up there for a long time. And instead of shipping the wheel to them, I thought I'd hand deliver it. And then I get to keep it a few more days longer than I would have otherwise. But I've put probably about 350 miles on this, thereabouts. So I think I've gotten to know it pretty well. And I thought I'd kind of summarize my thoughts. I'm not going to go down all the feature list. If you're watching this on YouTube, I have a playlist for all the Z10 videos I've made, and there's also a link to the forum where I've written down my thoughts, and that's a ongoing place that I'll be putting information for when I get my own wheel too. So if you want more nitty-gritty, check out that forum link. And if you haven't visited the forum before and you ride an EUC, where have you been? It's a great resource. So I thought I'd begin by just showing the difference between these are three wheels that two other wheels I've kind of compared it to in the past. This is my MSuper X. It's pretty lonely. See. By now, I would have ridden this a lot more than I have. I've only put about 50 miles on it because this guy keeps taking my attention. But anyway, this is my beloved ACM2, which I love, and it's still my favorite all-around wheel. I've been saying that the Z10 is about the size of the ACM, and it gives that impression, doesn't it? I'm underneath the flight path for LAX. Okay, sorry for that disruption. So yeah, it gives the impression that this is not a huge wheel. It is actually bigger than the ACM, but it's some kind of optical illusion. I don't know, and it's just Ninebot really did a great job of making a compact 18-inch wheel. And then this is the MSuper X, and they're actually about the same height and actually about the same width. It's just the packaging is different, and it still kind of gives you the impression of being a bit smaller than this. Of course, the tire on this is an 18-inch tire, but it actually measures about 17.5 inches in diameter, whereas this tire is approaching 20 inches. I think it's 19 and 3/4. It's a pretty massive tire too. Yeah, so anyway, just a little size comparison. Get these wheels out of the way a bit. So let me look at some of my notes here. One thing, when you get this wheel, it really does exude quality. I don't know what it is. I mean, it's still made out of plastic like these other wheels. The thing weighs a ton, and I'm sure that's part of it. It feels like a machine. It feels it just feels robust. Some of you might have seen the video where where it failed on my mountain climbing test, and it rolled 100 so feet down the hill, top tumbling, and the trolley handle got bent a little bit, but it's loosened up. It's pretty close to where it was before, and nothing else happened to the wheel. It just the fit and finish is beautiful. I love the app. You just download the app, and it works for all the Ninebot products, and it knew about the Z10, and it's got to be the most beautiful app, great functioning app that exists for all of our wheels. Yeah, so it feels like you're getting your money's worth out of this mission, out of this wheel. We'll talk a little bit about. I'm going to compare it to the MSuper. I have ridden quite a bit the KS18S, tiny bit on the L, but I don't have those wheels here to compare, and it's been a while since I've ridden them. But I'm going to compare it to the MSuper X just a little bit here. Today, my last day again, so sad, last day with this guy, I decided, hey, I'm going to do just a little acceleration test between this, the MSuper X, and my MSuper V3 S Plus. Just kind of curious how they handle, because my impression riding this wheel now, again for 350 miles, is it feels like a performance wheel. It feels like a Gotway, kind of like a Gotway, a King Song. It's not your grandfather's Ninebot. This is a performance wheel, but unless you ride wheels side by side, it's hard to be truly objective. So anyway, I did a little test today where I rolled accelerated up to about this guy's top speed, 28 miles an hour, and that distance, and I exceeded the distance maybe by 20 feet roughly, and did a few runs like that. And then I did the same thing with the MSuper V3 and then the MSuper X. And this wheel was faster than the MSupers. We're not talking a lot. My unscientific test, about a quarter of a second faster than the MSuper V3. And MSuper V3 is about a quarter of a second faster than the X. And I think that comes down to the tires. This is a smaller tire. We all know that smaller tires have more, they accelerate better. They seem to have more torque. So yeah, this is faster, and this is the slowest of them all in relative terms, right? And again, once you exceed 25 or so miles per hour, then the MSupers are going to, kill this guy because they're just faster machines. Anyway, I thought that was an interesting experiment, and it just proves to me that this really is a performance wheel, and it's not a performance wannabe wheel. Okay. Let's see. The trolley handle is, we all know, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. It sucks, but it is functional. It does work. I like using it. I've taken it into the grocery store. I've taken it sandwich shop, and it's definitely functional. It just doesn't feel very good, and it doesn't match the quality of the rest of the wheel. And it doesn't look too bad, really. By the way, I love the looks of this wheel, what I call naked, without the mudguard and without the handle. So when I get mine, I'm probably going to remove these components for a lot of my riding. It just looks so cool, and you can actually, these are independent, so you can have one or both on. You can choose. My only real complaint with this wheel is the low speed torque. And again, if you look at my mountain stress test, you'll see that demonstrated. I had a couple videos on that. And according to the president of Segway, I think, he says that the production Z10s have about a third more torque, and half, I think he said they run half, they run quite a bit cooler than this wheel. I will test that when I get it, so I'll know if they're blowing smoke. but I'm hopeful. So that's the only weak part, and that really only comes into play if you're climbing steep hills, which most of the time I'm not climbing steep hills. And when when I do kind of ride those trails, I'm pretty much not going to be taking the Z10. I'm going to be taking probably either the ACM or the MCM 5, smaller wheels. So if the production model only has the torque that this guy does, I'm still going to love this wheel because I'm just having a blast with it. It's a fun wheel. So the pedals, I think that definitely the pedals on the preview pictures that we saw looked cooler than this, but I'm happy with these pedals. When I did my range test where I rode this 38 miles non-stop for a few hours, my feet were doing fine. Relative to all my other wheels, they felt good. And this has a grip tape that Chris put on in New York. It's still been working good, Chris. But I'm glad to see that Ninebot is shipping with some grip tape insert that you can put on here. So I'm happy with these pedals. Your mileage may vary, of course. Keep in mind that again, this is a performance wheel, but it does speed limit you as the battery goes down, like King Song, like In Motion, not like Gotway. But it's very fast through most of the battery range. And again, if you look at the forum link below, that I have some more details on that. But suffice it to say that down to 20% battery, you can pretty much ride this at very fun speeds, at least like 22 miles an hour. I think maybe at 20%, you might be limited closer to 20%, 20 miles per hour. That's still pretty fun speed. To be honest, anything at the end of your ride, if you're going 17, 18 miles an hour, it's still a fun speed. But by and large, you can just have fun with this wheel. It definitely does not speed limit you like the King Song wheels. They're much more aggressive, I feel. Let's see. So like I said, I did get 38 miles on my range test. So the last few miles are really pushing it. My riding weight is about 175 pounds. I consider this a 30 to 35 mile wheel, and it depends on how you ride. If you're going to ride really aggressively, maybe it's going to be 25 to 30 miles, and it's pretty consistent with other wheels I have, which are in that 1,000 watt-hour battery capacity. It seems to be, it gets kind of gas mileage I would have expected for the wheel. Of course, I would love it if it had a 1,600 watt-hour battery capacity, like some of my Gotway wheels. Pads, lack of pads. Now, Chooch, who had this wheel before me, he said it really needed pads, and he stuck pads on with some duct tape, which was fun to get off, by the way, the residue. But I don't think it needs pads. I have not missed the pads at all in any of even when I was climbing the steep hills. The thing is, with some of the other wheels, like this wheel, the ACM, most other wheels, they have sharper edges up on the top, and the pads serve a purpose there to relieve the pressure points on your leg. But on this wheel, it has a gentle curve and taper up at the top, so there's no sharp edge that digs into your leg, and I never felt any pain or awkwardness riding this wheel without the pads. And that's the same, by the way, with my Gotway MCM5. No pads, and that wheel rides beautifully. And because it's got a nice taper. And I've been trying to tell people lately that to adjust your riding style, that even with the wheels with pads, you shouldn't be squeezing the wheel. It's my opinion. Of course, you can ride your wheels any way you like, and however it makes you, if you have fun riding your wheels, whatever works, right? But I'm just suggesting if you do have problems with discomfort on your legs because you're squeezing the leg, think about practicing your style of riding. Again, I try and tell people you got to practice riding every day. Practice some maneuver. Get better. You're not going to get better unless you practice. And I think that goes with your leg style and how you hold on to the wheel. Just a little comment: the Mudguard does work great. Southern California, it doesn't rain here, but I can find puddles here and there. The bottom of some of our cement rivers have some running water, and it works beautiful. Same with keeping dust off your butt and everything. Beautiful. It's too bad the wheel looks so nice without that installed. So let's see. Now, a lot of people are curious about how does it compare to the MSuper X? And I don't have a lot of time on the MSuper X, obviously only about 50 miles, but I do have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles on my MSuper. It's pretty close to this, and they're really totally different riding experiences. If you want to take off and ride into the sunset, get the MSuper X, because it's got the battery capacity to just go forever, it seems. And this is such a beautiful, smooth riding wheel that carves beautifully, and it's a beautiful wheel. This is not a smooth riding wheel. This fat tire is more friction, and you can feel it on the pavement. And it does not turn like this. You have to throw your body into turning it. It's not necessarily a bad thing. That's kind of what makes this a fun wheel. It's a very physical wheel. When I'm cruising, going fast, and I feel really comfortable going fast in this wheel. 25 is as fast as I want to go, period, generally. But my fast riding usually is in the 20 to 22 miles per hour when I'm kind of going fast, and this feels beautiful riding fast. But if you're carving, it's a physical experience. You're just throwing your weight into it. And I'm sure you guys have seen maybe some of my videos and like Sean's videos in New York where he's just going crazy carving. It's fun. It's a blast. So it's just different riding styles. It's almost apples and oranges between these two wheels. This is really like a dirt bike experience versus a cruising wheel. Anyway, that's my take. You really need to get both wheels, to be honest, if you can. I love the low speed handling on this guy. This wheel, when I say low speed handling, I mean doing little tight 360s, backward riding. When I go ride around in town, a lot of times I take my N10-3, the 10-inch wheel, and it's a blast. I'll come to a stoplight, and I have to sit there, wait, and I can do little 360s, ride around the light pole and stuff like that. And I can do that all day long on the N10-3, and it's fun, and you don't have to think about it. It's very natural, relaxing. On my ACM or all my other wheels, you can do that, but it takes a lot more psychic energy to do it. You're working it because those wheels are much more agile, and you're focused to do those little 360s. And the bottom line is it it's not something you tend to want to do. You just sit there and wait for the light. Well, this guy is the only other wheel other than the N10-3 that allows me to do that. Allows me to just play around at a light without thinking about it, and it's real relaxing. That's how I like to describe it. You don't have to get tense working on getting that 360 in. It's just you can lazily do 360s, and it's got to be the fat tire, just like the M10-3 has a 3-inch fat tire. So I really love the handling on this this guy. So again, if you want a physical wheel, if you want to have a wheel that it's just really fun to ride around town, and kind of a do-it-all wheel like the ACM, boy, it's hard not to recommend this wheel. I love it, and I really cannot wait to get my own, and I'm really depressed that I'm going to have to wait a month or two to get my own. But this wheel, when you're riding it, I love all wheels really, but this wheel, when you ride this, it's a beautiful wheel, but it's a different wheel, but it's so smooth and fast. You can go up 25, and here you're kind of pushing 25, and at the higher battery capacities, not so with this wheel, and it's just, this is more like a SUV, and this is more like a luxury truck. I don't know. So where does this wheel fit in the pantheon of all our wheels that we have today, that we have access to? And I have quite a bit of those wheels. Well, this is the company that I think the Z10 fits with. The Monster and the M10-3, and now the Z10. And why do I put this next to these two wheels and say it's unique like these wheels? Well, it's because it's such a unique wheel. The Monster, there's no other wheel on the planet like the Monster. A 22-inch beast, 2,400 watt-hour battery. I can cruise for 65 miles at working the wheel. If I want to baby it, I can go 90. I've gone 95 miles on this guy. Just such a unique wheel. The M10-3, no other wheel on the planet is like the M10-3, a 10-inch powerhouse of a wheel that is so fun to ride. This is my all-time favorite fun wheel to own. I don't know what I would do if I didn't have one. You can be sure I would pay whatever I need to get a replacement. And I keep telling people, you owe yourself. You don't necessarily have to have a Monster, but you're really missing out on life if you don't have an M10-3. But again, no other wheel is like this. Well, I put the Z10 in that category. No other wheel is like this. I mean, it's so unique. The looks of this wheel, I think everyone agrees it's such a killer looking wheel. God, you gotta love the looks in this guy. This fat tire, the fact that this is a performance wheel, 18-inch, but yet handles very close to the M10-3. Very unique. No other wheel I can think of is like that. And then the build quality of from the Ninebot franchise. I feel this is a really unique wheel, and I was really excited when it came out, and then not so excited when we start hearing these reports from China that it was underpowered. And they got excited again when we started getting people from the West riding this, and then when it came to the States through Jason at E-Wheels. And it's everything pretty much I'd hoped for. That's it. So that's pretty much my review. I'm getting one. Got my deposit in, and it's everything I can do to keep from pestering Jason. You know, where are these wheels, Jason? Yeah, I gotta get them into the country. And then I really didn't want to give this to the San Francisco guys. I don't know what they did to convince Jason to have me send it up to them. Yeah, but I do have a few other wheels to keep me busy. So that's it. Hope this was useful, and get yourself a Z10. Talk to you guys later.